Hey guys, VGamersRV here, back with another video, and today I'm back with some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we finished off our very first day of trial, in which we found out that apparently Detective Goodman was killed in both the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office and the evidence room of the police station at the exact same time. Now, obviously, that's not possible, so we have a whole mystery to figure out in today's investigation. So let's get right into it, yeah?
Mr. Wright, so, what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused.
Huh? Well, let's see. What is going on? The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room, what I just told you guys.
What's this and the evidence room part? The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car.
Well, that's what we're going to figure out. Or try to, at least.
Alright, let's do it.
Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's going to be much help with this.
Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright.
Huh?
Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go. Science awaits us.
I don't know how the fingerprint powder... Fingerprint powder? Was that what we did last time? What did we do last time? No, the examine thing. That might come in handy, actually.
You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares?
Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room. No biggie.
Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it.
That oil drum. Was it empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. My sister erasing evidence at a crime scene? Never.
Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister.
That's not it at all. It's just... we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her.
Big words for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away.
Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright.
Huh? What's that grin for?
The situation calls for one thing, and that is luminol testing fluid.
Luminol?
Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there.
But wouldn't the police have already done these tests?
Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try.
Me? Why do I have to do it?
I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet.
We're testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it.
Here, look. I'll lend you these glasses.
Huh? You got an extra pair of those things? Alright, we're on the bottom screen now. Let's do this.
The test for a blood reaction, just spray luminol on it. Like this, see? Touch the screen to spray on it. Okay, let's find us some blood stains.
So, according to the testimony, there was blood on the floor by the car before it was washed away. I'm trying to find my stylus on my desk, and I can't, so I might just use my finger here. Okay, we're using the finger. But as you can see, right over there, there's some blood on the floor, and there's probably more. There we go. Yeah, you have to actually, spray it quite a bit until it starts glowing a bit, and then this little box thing will come up around it. You just tap it once more, and you zoom right in. I can see her eyes shining behind those glasses. So, is this a bloodstain?
It's so...
Emma, you're shaking.
It's just... this is my first time seeing real blood.
Scientific investigation in action.
Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a bloodstain. But doesn't something strike you as odd? Scientifically speaking, of course.
What's odd about this? Scientifically. The bloodstain's location or the amount of blood? The amount of blood, obviously. The perpetrator and Detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little more blood? Not to mention, if he got stabbed right in the chest, well, I guess if he didn't pull the knife out of the body, there wouldn't be. But, just saying, if you get stabbed in the chest and then you pull that knife out, there's a crap ton of blood that just goes everywhere. Anyways, but the knife was still in the body, so that doesn't really apply to the situation. I definitely think so. I mean, oh, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they fought here, there'd have to have been more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find a bloodstain, okay? Go ahead. See? I'm pretty handy to have around, right? Yeah. And this stuff's pretty handy, too. I saved up my allowance to buy that. How much is luminol testing fluid? I could probably look it up, but I'm not going to. We can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that just doesn't fit with their view of the case. Let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day. Oh my god, I can't speak. Yeah! It feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it? Guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious. Ha! I wonder how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Miss Starr! You only trust your own eyes, Not bad, you two. This day-old deli box is on the house. Sorry, it's just... that kind of lead doesn't... What? That kind of lead doesn't really get my mouth watering. No, I don't think it would get anyone's mouth watering. Anyways, let's talk to Angel Starr about today's trial. You certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Miss Starr, but... No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see? I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Also a crime. I'm pretty sure that's perjury. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw the chief prosecutor's Sly stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? Alright, let's talk about Detective Starr. So, you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day I dragged the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long, they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. And you were let go? Fired? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case. The Sl9 Incident. Sl9? Wait, she doesn't mean... Yep, so now we have to present Goodman's note. What do you think about this? The Sl9 Incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know? Really? That wasn't Emma's voice, but that's okay. That knife was evidence from that case. The murder weapon. It was due for transferral the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected, Sl9 isn't over. Not yet. Do you think you could tell us more about the Sl9 incident? Yeah, please do. There's a lot to talk about regarding the Sl9 incident. Okay, apparently not. Never mind. There's something else we have to present. Do we have to present Goodman's ID too? Let's talk Goodman's ID.
I had one of those up until 2 years ago. Back when you were the cough-up queen, right?
We found this ID card here in the parking lot.
Well, there's no mistaking that. It's definitely Goodman's.
But it's the same ID as the man who was killed in the police department.
That's impossible.
I wish I could be so sure. Okay, is there anything else we need to present? The crime photo. Oh, right, we need to present the crime photo because Nick was like, there's something more to this. Crime photo.
If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room, but even I get flustered sometimes.
So you went straight to the scene of the crime?
I rushed toward the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes.
In other words, 5 minutes after the crime?
Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were.
The 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Starr. You lying was the problem.
Listen, little girl, I've had my testimony discarded before, and I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time.
That time? Alright, now can we talk about the Sl9 incident? Yes, let's talk about Sl9.
That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable.
Disposable? To who?
2 years ago, it was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence.
So, they didn't solve it?
On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him, and doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was they never did find decisive evidence. Not a shred.
What? But the criminal was executed, right?
On the basis of evidence of a sort. Made up evidence.
What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence?
The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen, others found themselves out of a job.
And you were one of those?
Myself and one other person you know well.
Wait, could it be?
Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I meant Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall.
Okay, let's talk about Detective Marshall then.
As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then, it was over. He was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I.
You haven't forgotten Sl9?
There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one in their fancy offices can stop us.
Wait! Those lunches you sell.
There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends. Boyfriends who can help me investigate. Miss Starr's old boyfriends. How many does she have, anyway? Just when all the detectives on Sl9 have disappeared, we find new evidence.
There has to be a connection!
So, rookie.
What?
It seems like you're serious about investigating this case.
Yes.
Then you should take this.
Salisbury steak lunch?
I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat.
Might help us, huh?
Miss Starr, Officer Marshall, is he your, are you his, are you going out?
Why do you want to know?
was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago, when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister and made me jealous. And he was nice to me too back then. This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall.
Maybe we should go find Jake Marshall and give him that steak lunch, yeah? We got to move over. Oh, we have a long way to go, don't we? We actually have to go over to the police department entrance. Oh. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. The detectives are running around so fast they're blurring. I suppose it makes sense. A detective did get killed here after all. So, the evidence room. The scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk, here it is. She's like a kid in the amusement park. She is 15. Ooh, a real crime scene. Let's go take a look. She is 15. Like, she's like a kid at the amusement park. Yeah, because she's 15. Anyway, we have to move over to the guard station. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric.
According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room.
So, beyond that door is the evidence room. The scene of the crime?
It sure seems that way. Oh.
What's wrong?
It's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight.
If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where is the guard?
I have a feeling I know who he is.
Yeah, I have a feeling I also know who he is already. Let's examine that door. The evidence room is beyond that door.
Let's just walk in.
It won't open. You thought it'd be open? I think we'd need someone's permission to go in there first. Gumshoe! Probably not. We need to move back to the police department entrance. Oh, there's a little Easter egg I forgot to point out there. Sorry, my bad. This place is charged with frantic energy, as always. Who's saying please?
Huh? Wasn't that...
One steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland.
Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale.
I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We've caught our criminal. Now we just need evidence. The criminal? You mean... You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed in the police department? And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested them, in fact. This is the biggest scandal that hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy. But Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need to get me a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking is going to fill my belly.
But wait! Don't leave!
If you want to know more, head down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later.
He ran off to the evidence room.
Well, this investigation is off to a running start. Well, he ran off to the evidence room, that's great. I'm going to actually go back to that guard station, because there's a little, like... I don't know if I can actually do it, considering I don't have the option to. Okay, let's examine the top of this cactus.
Yipes, these sure are prickly. They must be a real deal.
I don't think just one big one would be sufficient. These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually. How so?
Encased in a cold, rigid shell with spines pointing in every direction, just like her. I'm not so sure I see the resemblance. It's more an attitude thing than a physical similarity. Can I not do it? Wait, hold on. Court record. Luminol spray. Oh, there we go. Spray. Okay, so down here we're going to spray the top of this cactus. You have to do it like 70 times, which sucks. There we go. But yeah, as you can see, there's blood on top of that cactus. Wow, we got a reaction. There's clearly blood around the spines here. This room's pretty messy. Someone must have tripped over something and planted their head right on these spines. I think that might be more painful than being murdered. I think what's more likely is someone just slammed their head on top of that thing and then that's what happened. Anyways, we've got to move over to the detention center. I just wanted to show that off because that's there. Not exactly sure why that's there, but, you know, it's there. So we actually have to go back to the Wright & Co. law offices, and then we go to the detention center. For some reason, you can only get to the detention center by first going to the Wright & Co. law offices. Makes no sense, but we're not going to question it. Or at least, I'm not going to question it too much. Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the perpetrator who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah. I guess they did. Best not to go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. Oh, that's not a good sound to hear. What was that? Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me? A perpetrator? I'd say I was perpetrated against, sir. That's what I'd say. Hi. Greetings, sir. Wait, I know who you are. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Officer Meekins, so you're a guard down here at the detention center? No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman. Like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report? No, sir. How should I say this? Wait, he isn't... Is he? You, Officer Meekins, you didn't... Did you? Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir! What? What? Now this is an unexpected turn of events. I'll say, this guy was arrested for killing Detective Goodman in the evidence room, apparently. Let's talk about the day of the crime. Sir, I'm a patrolman with General Affairs, sir! Sir! Ow! I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, and so I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir. So, normally there's a guard in the evidence room? That's right, sir, because the evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now, the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person! Yow! What the heck is this guy doing? So, what happened then? After that, sir, everything went white. I saw red. I blacked out. And when I came to, I was here, in the detention center. How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. A bandage on his hand. Just like Miss Sky. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office. First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. We'll talk about that in a bit. Let's talk about the victim. I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. If you have to label me as perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me victim. I would, but you happen to be in detention, and alive and well as that. Yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman?
Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side.
So, you didn't know him?
Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light and other comfort creatures.
Creatures comfort? What?
I don't know any detectives.
So, if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him?
Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir.
At least someone around here is more confused than I am.
Yeah, I guess that's one relief, isn't it? Anyway, let's talk about that bandaged hand.
About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime?
Well, you see, sir,
Don't you think you should just confess?
But but there was nothing I could do.
Nothing you could do?
Sir, to tell the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious.
The next thing you knew, you were... Huh?
Then, when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared.
What?
Then, when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hand, sir. Oh, the shock. Oh, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt?
The victim's body disappeared? That's some story.
Oh, yeah, that's some story. You wake up and suddenly the dead body disappears. That's not... Okay, we have to present Goodman's ID here.
Do you think you could take a look at this?
Hey! That's it, sir! That's it! That's it!
That's what?
My head was a blank until just this very moment. But now, sir, I remember, sir.
You mean you remember what happened?
Correct! That card was the cause of it all.
This ID card? Or this ID card?
Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir. Nothing.
I better pry into this one a little deeper.
Yep, back to the talking menu. We gotta talk about the crime details.
Can you tell me what it is you do remember?
Well, sir, you might say I'm a little lost patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in the evidence room.
And that's why you thought he looked suspicious.
Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card.
Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far.
That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do?
That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me.
What?
Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him.
Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him?
Do unto others before they do unto you. My father's own words, sir.
But what happened then?
Well, my eyes, sir, everything went white. When I awoke, I was here.
Right. Let's talk about the reason for arrest.
So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you?
What do you mean, Emma?
Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim, who he met at the scene of the crime, didn't show his ID card.
In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim.
And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines.
Huh? But he still ended up here?
They told me it had to be him, sir, on that day at that time. Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said.
But you don't remember the events clearly?
No, but the videotape is quite clear.
Huh? Videotape?
From the security camera. The crime I swore to stamp out. It's there. It's me on tape. And you waited until now to tell us this? I I'm sorry, really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it. No thanks, I have my own. Well, I guess we better go check out that crime scene. No, what we actually need to do is move over to the Criminal Affairs Department. So let's go over there first.
Hey, Mr. Wright! Look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives' desk.
It's Police Chief Gone. And you're sure this is all? You know what it means if there's anything missing. Sir, I can't speak. I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. That's not something you want to be saying to the Chief of Police, is it? We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you'll call me right away. Deal? The chief detective is intimidated by the chief of police. Who would have thought, huh? The chief of detectives looks a little flustered. Ah, righto, my boy. How you been? Swim much? Oh, Nick, what are you doing?
Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright?
No, really, what are you doing, Nick? Anyway, let's talk about Edgeworth. I don't know why that's an option, but let's talk about Edgeworth. Is Edgeworth going to be okay? Oh, Worthy? They're just doing a little inquiry committee with him.
Sounds like an inquisition.
Yep, well, they had no end of trouble with the boy since last year. You mean the incident on Gourd Lake? It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in a defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right, Righto?
Von Karma.
A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence? Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy.
What?
Okay, let's talk about the evidence room incident. There we go. It's downright odd, I tell you. The detective getting killed on their turf, too, I mean.
There being the prosecutors, I assume? Scientifically speaking, it's impossible.
Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says.
What evidence is this?
Now, Righto, I can't give away all our secrets just like that. And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive. And I can't talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the chief of detectives' traps shut.
Ah, he was the one you were picking on earlier.
Huh? You saw that? Whoops.
I wonder what it was that he wanted the chief of detectives to do. Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him.
How are we supposed to discreetly ask him? I know. So you have to examine the desk in the very back where that man is sitting. You gotta examine that. Oh, sorry you had to see that.
What exactly did the chief of police want you to do?
Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can.
So, nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here?
Of course not. Well, except for this.
What? You kept something?
Sure, why not? It's not important. He didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete.
A lost item? Detective Goodman lose something?
The date on it is February 21st. Better make note of that just in case. February 21st. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Yeah, sure, you could do that. But real quick, take a look at the date of the crime. He died on February 21st, the same day that he filed that missing ID report. Or, not missing ID, missing ID report? Missing item report. My bad. I need to talk to you and say permission to enter. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Wright asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. Gone? You gonna say anything? Now, righto. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't need to investigate it after all. Righto, please, do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50, I'd give him $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content, knock yourself out. It just goes to show you never know until you ask. And for you, here, you can borrow this. Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir, it's an honor. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. It looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID. You seem happy. Yes, sir, because, sir, we get to go into the evidence room. Why are you mimicking Meekins? I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. No, really, you're starting to sound like Meekins with the sirs in every other sentence. But that's not important. We go to the police department entrance, and then we move to the guard station, and then we examine the door to the evidence room. And this time, we're actually allowed to go in. And we have the ID card from Chief Gaunt. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Aha! The card reader is turned off, see? What's that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Well, what's made my Bambina sky so gray? And then this music starts playing again. I don't hate this music. I honestly, I love this music. I love Marshall's theme. I really do. But I love that it starts playing as soon as his sprite slowly starts to become invisible. I love it so much. Anyway, Officer Marshall. What's that? Why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. We're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeehaw, that card you got there on your chest. That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw? Well, what are you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. Crime scene's awaiting. Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions? Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you hombres. You're busy, then? Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. Yeah, so in order to actually talk to Marshall, you first have to present the steak lunch to him. That smell. Ah, reminds me of Texas. What? Okay. I don't see why steak would remind you of Texas. I feel like if anything reminds you of Texas, it's the smell of oil. So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? Nah, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this for my baby? Yeah, Miss Starr. What's this? What's wrong? A filet steak lunch. I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. I do too. I'm confused. Let's talk to you about it. Let's talk. Can we talk? Can we talk? You might want to finish the food in your mouth before you, just talk like... Oh, okay. Finally, it seems like... Yeah, no, you might want to finish the food in your mouth before you talk like that, though. Or at least that's what I would do. He's willing to talk. Yeah, I guess that's good and all, but like... You gotta finish the move. Okay. I think as a Texan, I can say that most people here actually do finish the food in their mouths before speaking, or at least most people that I've met finish the food in their mouths before speaking, so you can't understand them when you talk. Alright, let's talk about the guard station.
Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right?
You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, but I'm grateful for it.
Actually, Officer Meekins at the Detention Center told us.
Ah, that poor little doggy. Poor guy, I keep getting his name wrong, calling him Meekly.
He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station.
Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. But since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look like it, but I lost my file for the job, you see?
So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place?
Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy.
Note, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy.
There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place.
You mean the security camera system?
I don't take the machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know? Hey, I like broccoli. Haven't had steak before, because I'm Politarian, but broccoli's good. Anyway, let's talk about Marshall. Let's talk about himself, I guess.
Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago.
It was always my dream to be a what? A rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime.
He wanted to be a detective.
That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire.
You're still investigating the Sl9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you?
That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it still smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it.
What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times, so no one tells us what actually happened.
There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambino. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago.
2 days ago?
The day of our case. That's right. The evidence transferrals.
Edgeworth was talking about the transferrals too.
Okay, let's talk about the security system and then we'll ask about the transferral. I don't know what maybe 2 of the machines in here do.
Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen.
Like I said, Bambino, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steak. Cauliflower's good too! The easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras.
Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned.
If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours.
And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes?
I reckon they might be.
You're the security guard and you reckon?
One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card.
Thus the card reader by the door.
The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. 7777, that's 7 sevens in a row.
So this is the ID card record. Hey! I've seen that somewhere before.
Sorry, Bambino. I can't show you more than that.
Uh-huh?
I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet.
Mr. Wright! I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before.
Maybe there's some way I could prove that record is tied to the stabbing. Oh, there is. We'll do it right after we ask about the transferral. Sorry, but could you explain this whole what this whole transferral thing is about? We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They kept here under the presiding detective supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see?
So what happens to the evidence after 2 years?
It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferral. We do it every February.
I see now.
Transferral is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated.
And that happened to Sl9 2 days ago.
I feel like I don't know if that's like retconning what we were told during Turnabout Goodbyes. During Turnabout Goodbyes, we were told that the statute of limitations for a case was 15 years. But I don't know if that statute of limitations only applies to the case being in court, or if that applies to the evidence as well. I guess for the evidence, it's this rule. Not sure. This happens frequently with these games, is that sometimes they can't keep their own rules straight. It's a bit of a thing that happens often here, throughout these games. They can't keep their own rules straight, they can't keep, like, a timeline straight, they can't, like, keep plot points with certain characters straight. That happens frequently in these games, so it is a bit of a mess to figure out sometimes. It's not a huge deal. I still love these games. Like, I have my critiques about this game. Everyone has their critiques about these games. I still love them. Anyway, we have to present Goodman's ID to Marshall here. See this? This is the victim's ID card. Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot? The number on this is 5842189. Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. And there it is, 5:14 p.m. Look at the fourth number. It's a perfect match. It was used at 5:14, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world. So, when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. But wait, what did Officer Meekins say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card. So, you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing! Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. If he had his ID card then, why would he have pointed the knife at Officer Meekins? Alright, compadre, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. That'd take a lot of work. We actually do have a lot left in this investigation, if I'm correct. We have a lot left in this investigation. Anyways, we have to... Oh yeah, now we examine the door once more, and this time we should be allowed in, yeah? Yeah, you turned on the card reader. So now we can scan the card, and let's go in. Let's go in. Oh my god, let's go in. Evidence room. Let's go. Okay. Sector 3. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here. So, this is the evidence room? It really is kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue. Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. Really? It seems like you're already... Oh, hi, Gumshoe. Yeah! Whoa! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So, is it true what I heard? Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, if I could borrow $50, I'd give him $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's desire. Knock yourself out. Yeah, that's true. So, chief of police gone. Will loan anyone $50? Oh, and he's gone. No? Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation today. Just for today? Boss for a day. But guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for a day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you'll want to have this. The evidence from floor plans. That actually will come in very handy. Let me actually look at that real quick. Let me look at those floor plans real quick. It's just the backwards L shape with lockers along the walls. Okay. Let's talk to Gumshoe Boss for a day. So, Detective Gumshoe, you're the boss for the day? That's right. It's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you're boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? I've got mucus going down my throat. Oh boy. They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation again. I'm adamant, though. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. in my own evidence locker, pal.
You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe?
Of course, I am a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal.
Only you can open?
We'll talk about that. Let's talk about Edgeworth real quick, because you and Edgeworth are very close. I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens.
So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the Inquiry Committee right now, right?
They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess-up in court today.
I see.
I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case.
That case?
Yeah, that case. The Sl9 Incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth.
Maybe we could get him to tell us more about the case.
Alright, let's talk about the evidence lockers. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so only one detective can open it.
Using their ID card?
Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third card since entering the force already.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand.
Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint?
Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coated with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own.
Funny, they look like normal lockers.
These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see?
The handles?
On the other side of the handles is a sensor. And if the wrong person touches it,
zap! You get a shock!
Well, that's what happened. My hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that fingerprint locks. I feel like they do and they just don't mention it. Like, there's no way they don't know about it. There's no way they don't know it's a fingerprint knife. A fingerprint knife? A fingerprint lock. We need to present the knife to, Gumshoe, the switchblade knife. Detective Goodman's known that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of everyone. Because of the Sl9 connection? That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth as a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. Oh no, there's a lot of loose ends left on that case. We know about it. We need to talk about the Sl9 incident. Now that was a bloody violent case. Violent? So it was a murder? A serial killer? A serial killer? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him.
And this was 2 years ago?
That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight. And started the rumor mill. Rumors? About forged evidence? It was all supposed to be cleaned up with the Transferral the other day. That was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is.
Huh? What do you mean?
Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the Sl9 incident, see?
So, that switchblade knife.
The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself? I suppose so. Next thing we have to do is present the ID card record that we got from Marshall. Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing. Oh, I heard the rumors. So, it was Goodman who came in here at the time of the murder. Whoa!
What is it?
That second number. It's not your ID number, is it, Detective? Is it Detective Gumshoe? Mr. Edgeworth!
What?
The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth.
What?
The second number on that list, huh? Let me look at that list. Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? Let me look at that list. Let me look at that record. The second number is Miles Edgeworth, but it's at 440. Okay. Okay, that's a bit suspicious, don't you think? Anyways, now we have to pan over to this side, and we have to examine... Well, I'm sure we can examine that bloody footprint, or not footprint, the bloody hand. if we want to. But no, what we need to look at is the glove that's hanging on the police tape. That white glove that's hanging on the police tape.
Someone left a glove here, but only one.
Detective Gumshoe, maybe? There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know.
You mean SL9? It does have a tag on it.
Then why didn't you look at that? Why didn't you look at that first? Anyways, we have to examine like this area that's below that open locker, the one with all where the 2 and the 4 tags are.
Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces.
Detective Gumshoe, perhaps? There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case.
The case?
The Sl9 Incident, pal. See the sticker on one of those pieces there?
Another piece of SL9 evidence.
Take a closer look or look for other evidence. Let's take a closer look. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before it was broken.
You want to try and put it back together?
Ha! Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Why, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up.
That's why I always carry around a tube of glue.
Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Okay, well, this is actually somewhat difficult, but not in the way you'd think. So on that top screen, you have the base of what the item is. On the bottom screen, you have all the different fragments that are available. So there's 8 total fragments. You see the rotator arrows. These are here so you can rotate the pieces. So you'd have to figure out what fragment goes. So first, for example, we're gonna shove that fragment up there. So what happens when we press combine and it's not the correct piece, it just goes up there and jumps right back down. That's kind of all it does. So we need to scroll through all of these pieces and find which one fits properly. So on this top screen, you can see that there's that plus sign and then there's that red sort of line on the actual base. We need to find a piece that fits onto that base, like, perfectly. So I don't know, is this the correct piece? No. That's all, like, that's literally all this is finding out what piece fits in what area. There we go. Like, so that one was fragment 5. Oh, there's blood on some of these pieces. How did I not notice that? Now we have to find a piece that fits there. That's going to be fragment 4. Now, like I said, you do have to rotate them correctly as well. You can't just, like, shove them up there and expect them to fit. So the next one is Fragment 6. But like I said, if I just shove that up there, it's not going to fit. You actually have to rotate it, and then put it up there, and then it fits. Which sucks. It's a hard thing to figure out, honestly. Like, if you hadn't done it before, you're going to spend quite a long time trying to figure this out. Because I remember my first time doing this, it took me for almost forever. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how long it took me, but the first time I did this, it took so long for me to figure out how to do this correctly. Like, how to put everything back together in one. It's difficult. It is a difficult puzzle to do, because it's like 3D, and it's 3D in both manners, and, like, you also have the added thing of rotating all these pieces. Granted, the first time I played these games, I was a child. Oh, wait, that's not right, is it? It's this one. Wait. See, even now I'm struggling with this. And I've played this game several times to the point where I'm able to just look at these pieces and put them back on like that. But yep, that is the finished piece, or quote-unquote finished. It's actually not finished. There is a piece missing, as you can see. But the order for the pieces is fragment number 5, fragment number 4, fragment number 6, 1, 8, 3, number 2, and number 7. Obviously, you have to rotate all those correctly in order to put them back on. I love these investigation puzzles, don't get me wrong. I really do. I love these investigation puzzles so much. I love the Luminol thing. I love this. I love the examine feature. I love this puzzle that we get to do in this. I love these so much. I really do. It's just sometimes it's hard for children to figure out. And granted, this game is like, what, E10 plus? So you're not like a literal child when playing this, but, you know, sometimes it's hard to figure out. But, yeah, but some of the pieces are definitely missing, as Emma said. Yeah, I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finish it. Were some pieces stolen? I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. I kind of understand how it got broken. Yeah, that's true. If you're keeping it upside down like that, it only has that one little peg to stand on. I guess it wouldn't be well, my brain's like not working, too stable. But now we need to go find that luminol, testing fluid. We actually need to go on the left over here. I'm gonna come down to this, bottom screen. So yeah, we're over on the, excuse me. We're over on the left side, and there's a locker right here that has like a bit of cloth sticking out. You gotta spray that a few times with the luminol, and then get that right there. That looks like a bloody handprint, don't it? Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This might just be something significant. Hey! That's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What? This? It's called luminol testing fluid. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow 50 bucks from the chief. Where do you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I'd better jot this down on the floor plans. Yeah, that's not always fun, ain't it? It looks like it got wiped off somehow. Anyway, now we have to pan over to the right, and we have to spray... Which locker was it? I don't remember which locker it was. It was something over here. Or it was over here. Oh, the one with the visible handprint. Okay. That handprint was already visible before we used the luminol, though. That handprint was already visible. I knew it! This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, detective? This locker, it's mine. It's yours? Please! You have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm... What? Gumshoe, you're not getting arrested. This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor mat. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you guys can't trust the police. What? But you're... Moving on, no one's about to arrest Gumshoe, okay? No one's about to arrest Gumshoe. Anyway, next thing we have to do is spray down here on what the crime scene is, and you have to spray it about 70 times, because luminol. And look at that giant pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien? This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you should have asked. No one has pale blue blood, buddy. Detective Goodman, for one, definitely did not have pale blue blood. Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm going to go give him my report for the day. It might help, you know. Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer? The one that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure you could use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. Yeah, we really should. So we gotta move a lot of places, actually. We gotta move to the guard station, and then we have to move out to the police department entrance, and then you have to move over to the underground parking lot, and then you have to go away, Angel Star, and then we have to move to the High Prosecutor's office. That's a lot of movement we just did. And we're not even done with the investigation yet! Oh, this investigation system is so long. Oh, it's you! Hi! Oh, that's literally what I said. What do you mean, have we met some... Huh? What do you mean? So yeah, apparently the bellboy doesn't remember us, which is fair, I suppose.
There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Pondering life's existence, I'm sure. Right. He has the hotel bring him tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. By the way, Detective Gumshoe was looking for you. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I really think this thing is taking a toll on him.
What do you... Of course it is. There's so much shit that just happened, and a lot of it kind of revolves around his involvement in Sl9. Anyway, let's talk about the inquiry committee. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation.
Concealing evidence?
Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Okay, let's talk about tomorrow's trial. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However, something happened? They gave control of the investigation over to the police department.
The police department?
Yes, any further investigation for this case will be directed by the chief of police, Gaunt. I could do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you? Why? All along I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still. Wow, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Yeah, I guess after all this it would be a bit hard-hitting. Anyways, what we have to do is present that ID card record to him. Oh, right, I better check this now. As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage? Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true.
Why, Mr. Edgeworth?
Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go. My chief got no less.
The chief of police?
He wanted evidence for a case that had wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have been if the evidence was already filed. The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here.
Can I ask what kind of case it was?
I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. Now I'm curious about this other case. I better make a note of it. Unrelated evidence screwdriver. Stubborn as always. I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. Yeah, but this is Nick we're talking about. Anyways, no. We have to present... What is it? Where's the note? We have to present Goodman's note to him. I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on, the Sl9 Incident, and some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. You must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. Alright, let's talk about the Allegations of Forgery. The Sl9 Incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was a deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gaunt. Gaunt? That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too then. He was a top officer and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? Of course he does! What I want to know is why was a deputy chief of police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more
extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't... Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something.
My sister? What?
If you were still studying forensic science?
Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today Mr. Wright and I were using this.
Luminol testing fluid, Well then, you might have use for this.
Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints!
It's been chemically treated for better adhesion.
For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know?
I have no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really... No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved.
Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Yeah, I think Gumshoe would find good use of those. Alright, I do remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. I do too, and we're gonna go investigate that in a second. However, let me look at the court record real quick. I'm going to get the luminol testing fluid. Nope. I need the luminol testing fluid. We're going to spray it. And we are going to spray it. Alright, where is it? It's somewhere here. There it is. There we go. There's blood right in front of Edgeworth's desk for some reason. No idea why it's there, but hey, it's there. Judging by your mouth, it's just a nosebleed. It's probably a nosebleed. Slap someone for their incompetence? Why does Detective Gumshoe's face come to mind? Oh, poor Gumshoe. Anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted. There's just a small bit of blood right there. Nothing big. Anyway, now we have to move all the way back to the evidence room. Which means we go to the underground parking lot, and then we go to the police department entrance. I kind of blanked out there for a second. I was going to go back to the detention center. Guard station. Oh, Marshall's gone. That's cool. Evidence room. Okay. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. My goodness. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use a secret weapon we just borrowed. Secret weapon? Really? Anyway, we're on the bottom screen here. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So, let's choose the finger that left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger! Yeah, I think we're supposed to go with the index one. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? Ah, looks like that did the trick. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow it away. Just blow away the excess. Huh? Why are you asking how to blow away the what? Okay, anyways, yeah, all you do is just, you tap on a bunch of the powder, and by that I literally mean a bunch. You can, like, cover the entire screen with it if you want, actually. And then you just blow into the DS microphone. Apparently I don't even have to blow, I can just talk. Anyway, I think we need more powder here. We need a clear print, so we're just going to lather that on. We are going to... that just looks like a bunch of sugar, man. There we go. Ah, you did it! You found one! But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with the scientific investigations. But it does seem like a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door again closely, it seems like there are fingerprints outside of the bloody handprint as well. There is, in fact. So, right here, you see there's more fingerprints. Let's take a look at that. And now we're back to lathering on that powder. Whoop-de-doo. Nah, but I think this fingerprint powder is cool. We actually do use it a lot, like in the future games as well. We end up using this fingerprint powder quite often, actually. So I actually like that we get to do some investigation ourselves, whereas most of the time you don't really do. There we go, a print clear, or a print clear, a clear print. My goodness. Anyway, yeah, it took a long to find. Let's match it up right away. Yeah, no, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? So now we're going to have a look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth. The test is going to be on the bottom screen, but I'm just going to read it out loud. And point out the person who you think left these prints. I can make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So, whose fingerprints would we find most likely on this evidence locker? So we're going to have our fingerprint on the left side there, that one that we just found. And down on this bottom screen, you have a list of people who you have the fingerprint data for. You have to select one of them and compare the prints. So I'm going to select Dick Gumshoe. We're going to compare his prints. And would you look at that? This is actually really cool. But look at that. That is a perfect match. Like Emma said, fingerprint has nothing to do with this case. The bloody fingerprint, or the bloody handprint look, or what? The bloody handprint probably does have something to do with the case, but like Emma said, someone was probably wearing gloves when the handprint was made. I can't speak. But there are other handprints we need to investigate here. There are other handprints we need to investigate. There's one other handprint in this room. Yeah, there is one other handprint we need to check out. And that's over on this. We are going to go to the court record. There we go. And then fingerprinting set. Oh, I can't just... Do I have to spray it with luminol first? Oh, no, I have to examine it first. Never mind. I can just examine this locker. This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right? Right! There was a handprint here! Okay, wanna try using this? There go her eyes sparkling again. Let's check for prints. But I have to warn you about something first. The area with blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. Well, if we're looking for any prints left... Well, okay, we still need to select the finger to examine here. So, okay, I'm gonna show you guys here. So, obviously, you can't examine these prints because they were left behind by a bloody hand, but if you look to this, there we go, a spot right next to that middle finger where the index finger would be normally, you find a place that has a sort of reaction. Now we're just gonna sprinkle on a crap ton of this powder, do this whole investigation bit again, and would you look at that, we got a clear fingerprint, or a relatively clear one once I get all this powder slathered on there. My god. Is that still not enough? Okay, no, I was gonna say that had to have been enough. Anyways, so we have to figure out who could possibly be a match to this. There's one person that this print belongs to, and it's, well, let me just point this up there. I'm gonna shove that file up there, and we're gonna see if this is a match. So far, it looks like it is. Perfect match. Hey, these fingerprints, whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? Apparently so. That's gotta be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma, this is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminol reaction.
The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place.
Oh!
So, we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped bloodstain.
That's definitely not suspicious. Totally not suspicious.
Looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be hard to believe, but that's just how these things go, I suppose. Jake Marshall was inside that evidence room and for some reason, left behind bloody prints. But that's stuff that's going to come out in the next episode when we go into our second day of trial. Until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!